guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Dimmitt Chevrolet in Clearwater, Florida. And guess what? Sticking to our roots, we are doing all the trims of vehicles that we bring to you here on Rady's Rides. And what do we have for you today? It's this vehicle right here. This is your entry-level base model 2024 Chevrolet Traverse. This is called the Traverse LS. But before we get into this mid-size 3-row SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So as you are aware, the Traverse has gotten a total redesign. And we already brought you the Z71 trim, which is the first ever off-road spec trim of the Traverse. We brought you the fully loaded RS. Now it's time to bring you what happens at the entry level with the LS trim. Now, of course, in this segment, there's a lot of competition, and you gotta be careful when you look at a base model, depending on the brand, because it could mean two totally different things. Base could be so bare bones, there's just nothing in the vehicle, or wait until I show you this Traverse. It may have some surprises up its sleeve. So let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out, should you go new Traverse, or should you say go Honda Pilot or Toyota Highlander, but at the base level? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our LS trim and find out. Right off the bat, the dimensions. So you're looking at a little bit larger Traverse, and that's gonna not only give you a little bit of extra physical appearance, but it's gonna give you more room on the interior. And wait until I show you that class-leading passenger and cargo volume. Now, at the front of the business, just like all the other Traverses that we've shown you so far for the redesign, you're gonna have your LED daytime running lamps up top with the turn signals, and down below you have an LED projector beam headlight. Now, because this is the LS trim, you have some bright, shiny chrome finish. Let me know how you feel about that. I think it works with our metallic black painted Traverse. Just a little pop of bling here and there. Now, as we work our way down, large area of just flat black fake vent. I'm not gonna zonk it on the LS. We've already zonked it on the higher trims because it's the same fake vent. The only difference is on the LS, it's flat black rather than gloss black. You do get the functional corner air curtains that are flat black on the interior, which is nice. So you are getting the same great style and functionality for those air curtains that you get on the top trims. Now, as we come across the new grille, there it is, our bow tie, that Chevrolet bow tie, all that history since 1909. You get a forward-facing camera on the LS trim. Think about that. There's been some top trims of mid-size SUVs that we have reviewed here on Rady's Rides where you don't get a forward-facing camera. So LS trim, forward-facing camera, flat black on the grille with your active shutters, working your way down, more flat black but more functionality with the lower grille area. And I tend to like the flat black better, and I think with this particular one, with it being metallic black in its paint job, it kind of blends everything in very nicely. Now, as we rise up, we got our new hood. Looks more like a Tahoe. This really does look like a mini Tahoe, and I mean that in all the good ways. So you have a bold hood, nice indentations on each side, and I like the way they do this simple fold. And you can see where the rise is in the center here. And it just lasts about a split second, then evaporates. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with wheel and tire setup? A lot of times when you do an LS trim from Chevy, you get hubcaps, not on the Traverse. So these are aluminum wheels, 18-inch. I like the way they went dark gray metallic with the machined aluminum accents. Not the largest wheel, but it's pretty darn good looking. 18-inch wheel, and if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the tire size? You're looking at 255 on the width, 65 series sidewall. And remember, you could get your Traverse front-wheel drive like this one is, or all-wheel drive. There is flat black around the fender openings, but for a base trim, I think it's just fine. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the wheel and tire package on this LS. Now, as we continue down the side, you're getting your color match on the mirror caps, LED turn signals, 360-degree cameras on an LS trim. If your mind isn't getting blown, mine is. Yours should be too, because that's pretty darn good on a base trim. Traverse name in that shiny chrome finish, just like the trim on the nose. Bright, shiny metalwork only on the top. And you'll notice the LS does not get any raised roof rails. You could add them, but they don't come from the factory that way. That's a big physical differentiator between the LT trim, which is right above this. It's easy to tell the difference. Look for the roof rails because they have the same exact wheels, LS and LT. As we continue down the side, color matched on the door handles. So I like the way that's all blended in nicely. They did a great job with this quarter window. I just like it when they add a little extra style. All glass coming towards the tail. And then as we swing it around real wide, you're gonna notice the same great style on the other Traverses. So I love the way they did their waterfall effect on their full LED lighting. You got that nice roof spoiler with your third brake light smoked out. There is an exposed wiper. I am gonna zonk it. It would be nice to just hide that underneath and just clean up the whole back. Simple, Traverse. We don't need to have an LS badge because look, when you go down to ground level, you get quad tip exhausts, just like the other trims. That to me is shocking. Like I said, there are some top trims that we bring to you on Rady's Rides where you don't get anything like that. Nice to see on this LS spec. And of course you remove this cover because you could tow with this vehicle. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our entry-level Traverse. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood, there's only one engine available on the new Traverse. So guess what? It's the same engine on the higher trims. 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4 paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 328 horsepower, 326 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in about 6.7 seconds. The vehicle weighs 4,550 pounds. MPG is about 20 in the city, 27 on the highway. So very interesting to see what Chevrolet is doing with this Traverse, especially when it comes to this LS trim. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see it move. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Chevrolet Traverse LS trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I am getting my mind blown. You're right. I had to pick up the pieces of my mind off the floor because they were blown everywhere. Lay it on me, though. How much is it? Because I have a price in mind, and it's kind of high because of all the great things that this has. How much is the MSRP? Very good question. I'm sorry you had to pick up pieces of your mind that were blown, but that's what I like to do here on Rady's Rides. I like to blow people's minds with some of this stuff. So here comes the shocker. MSRP for this vehicle, $38,000. $38,000. Let's see what the interior has in store for us in this vehicle. To the door panels. I love the way you're still getting the same materials. Soft touch up top. All black. I like the painted gray finish there, a nice satin gray. No gloss black around the switchgear. Even some contrast stitching on the armrest and some aluminum style trim. Door pocket, great size for a Papa John's Papadilla, and a large sun-kissed orange soda to wash it down. Going from the door panel to the dash, look at the way they did the texture. I'm liking that. Doesn't have to be too over the top, even for the base model. That aluminum style trim, the stitching, soft touch material. You'll notice down below, you got storage for a purse, a purse, a sack, a satchel. You can even put a 5-pound bag of Granny Smith apples down there and still have plenty of room. Up top, 17 inches of infotainment system screen. Yes, on the base trim. So very nicely done. All touchscreen. You got your dual climate. We have 3 stages of heated seats. And of course, you have a real deal volume knob. We go into our main menu. All the same great apps, cameras. Love cameras in GM vehicles. The resolution is so perfect. 360 camera. You can go overhead. How about the sides? I mean, really nicely done. You can see those 18-inch wheels. So they did a great job there. Working our way down, we still have real knobs. So you got your dual climate control knobs, some toggle switches. You have USB-C, USB-A, and a 12-volt. Plus you have enough room for about $1 million. Not in cash, but 100 grand bars. 2 cup holders. Here's our key fob. Spin it around. Remote start. Little bit of gloss black, and this is a bummer because I got to get the Radies Rides towel out. And I got to clean the fingerprints off. There we go. All right. There. Almost there. There we go. Open it up. You could put a bag of Big League Chew, maybe some bubble tape. You could probably fit about 5 cases of bubble tape. I remember once when I was a kid, I put a whole case of bubble tape in my mouth. I felt like my jaw was going to break. Thank God it didn't, because I wouldn't be able to talk. And I don't know how fun Radies Rides would be without me talking. Maybe for some people. There's sometimes people in the comments that say, will this guy ever shut up? Probably not. Material soft on the armrest. Look at the stitching, even on the side here. They didn't go all cheap. Open it up. You got a container for a prison shank. I don't know what this is doing in here, but this looks like a prison shank. And then you pull this out, and then you could easily stuff in there, I would say, 8 Beanie Babies. You know, maybe that's something that somebody could do, is like start a charity where you drive Beanie Babies around to prisons, and instead of shanking, they just Beanie Baby each other. Weird. Seats, they are cloth, but they did a good job with the different style. Seems very durable. Manual adjustments for the passenger, manual adjustments for the driver. Of course we don't have a sunroof. Come on, don't be greedy at this price point. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel in this new Traverse LS. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Really love how they opened up the interior. It feels great. I have manual adjustments on the driver's side, but like I said, $38,000. What do we got going on here? Leather wrapped steering wheel with the contrast stitching, heated steering wheel. You do have paddles for the 8-speed automatic, and the transmission is a column shifter, so it's an electric shifter on the column. You got an 11-inch digital gauge cluster, and you can go through different information. Look at Google Maps, man. Love the way you have all the safety features, tons of different screens and the ways that you could display them. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, but it feels good up here. Let's see how good it feels in the mid row and the third row of this Traverse. All right, guys, backseat time, and this is where Traverse really lays the smack down on the competition. Is plenty of room for the up front passengers, but the people in the middle and the third row are pretty freaking spoiled. I mean, there's a lot of room here. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not even close to that headliner. You do have pockets behind both seats. You could put a back scratcher, an abacus, a Game Boy, maybe even one of those Tiger games. I don't know if you remember from the 1990s, there was a series of these Tiger electronic games, Mortal Kombat, Dungeons and Dragons, not Dungeons and Dragons, Double Dragon, and a lot of other games that were just simple handheld games before everything got so fancy. Where now we're playing games with Martians and other universes and solar systems. Those used to be the days. A command center in an LS. 2 cup holders. Love the way you got the rear AC controls. USB-Cs. A place for a pickle in a bag. In case you get dehydrated, drink the pickle juice. If you have nothing else to drink and you're dehydrated, drink the pickle juice. But sitting here, I feel really, really good. They are, of course, sliding seats, which are nice. And then they do recline. The only thing you don't get on an LS trim is a center armrest. But I'm willing to give that up for all the other goodies I have back here. But let's get into the third row and see if your passengers are going to feel like stuffed sausages back there. All right, guys, third row time. I like the way they have the plastic on the floor so your passengers don't rip up the carpet. You slide on in, and I mean, I've been in worse. I've been in better, but I've been in worse. Not even close to the headliner. My knees are a little high. That's where I feel kind of weird. I feel uncomfortable, but I think for a pretty good distance, I'd be willing to sit back here. And I like the way all 3 rows get the same durable cloth seat interior. They didn't just do like all black or something in here. And you have USB-Cs, a cup holder, and a yogurt holder. So if you're trying to get your kids to eat yogurt, you can have the Yoplait back here. Don't give them the Go-Gurt. That's just a bunch of sugar and crap. Give them something with some actual real fruit in it. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into that cargo area and see how many pieces of fruit we could fit in this Traverse. All right, guys, cargo area time, always an important subject on any SUV. As you can see, LS trim has electric assist. You're going to be greeted to 23 cubic feet of space, quite a bit of cubic space. And then guess what? Look at all the storage underneath. Yeah, the floor mats are in here, but boy, oh boy, I could think about all the Twinkies, cupcakes, ho-hos, snowballs, and everything else that could fit in there easily for any family road trip. And then to get the third row down, it's very simple. You're just going to pull on the tether, fold it down. That's going to go from 23 cubic feet of space to 57 cubic feet of space. I want Steven to show you those USB-Cs on an LS trim in this vehicle. And then, of course, the mid-row folds down flat, and that's going to give you 98 cubic feet of space. 98! There's some full-size SUVs that don't have 98 cubic feet of space. So it's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go take this Traverse LS for a spin and see how it drives. All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Chevrolet Traverse, the LS trim, leaving Dimmitt Chevrolet, and right away, it's wonderful how comfortable the seats are. Especially, I feel like a cloth seat is a little bit more comfortable than a leather seat. And these are really, really nicely supported. Yes, they're manual adjustments, but once you get where you want it, it feels good. The fact that you have the 17-inch infotainment system screen that's easy to get to, the Google Maps, large digital gauge cluster. And even on this LS trim, they did a great job with noise and vibration harshness, which is surprising because you would think with the 4-cylinder turbo, there would be more noise and vibration entering the cabin, but it doesn't seem to be that way. You got your 3 different drive modes, and it's nice because once you hit your mode, it shows up on the screen what you're going into: sport, normal, and snow and ice. We'll put it in sport. I just had it in normal, and we'll go on throttle here. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Nice shifts from the 8-speed automatic. Very, very peppy. Now, it is a little coarse, but to be honest with you, for a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, it's not too bad. I almost feel like maybe the V6 sounded more coarse, was a little bit more harsh on its action. But this really drives nicely. Steering wheel has a great thickness to it. If you want to shift with the paddles, there are paddles to shift with. You got all the great safety features, awesome storage capability, and really this area is the only super large area of gloss black. So I do have to applaud them for not just pouring a bucket of gloss black materials in here. But I really think that for the price, if you need a mid-size SUV and you don't want to break the bank, this brings so much for your hard-earned dollar. But going down the road here, just super smooth. Visibility's great. Out the front, out the back, the side mirrors. Just really, really nicely done. I've truly believe that you need to give these Traverses a shot if you haven't been in one ever, or if it's been a while since you've been in one, because this 2024 redesign is fantastic. It really, really is. But going down the road, they did a great job. The chassis soaks up the bumps nicely. With the 18-inch wheels, you don't have to worry about any harshness from low-profile tires or anything like that. It's just very smooth. But the biggest shocker, of course, is the technology you're getting in this 2024 Traverse. I mean, the fact with the cameras, the large screens, the Google built in, they got you covered. And all your passengers are covered too. Even USB-Cs in the third row. But I really feel that this is now like a smaller Tahoe in a very good way. But it's just really nice how the engine and the transmission behave with one another in this vehicle. And I feel like the gearing in the transmission really plays well with the 2.5 liter turbocharged engine handling. I mean, look at this. On throttle, here we go. 8-speed drops down and we're off. Remember, 328 horsepower. That's more than the Highlander. That's more than the Pilot. That's more than the Telluride. That's more than the Palisade. The only ones that are really coming up with more is going to be a CX-90, or, for example, a Grand Highlander. And that's only really the max with the hybrid setup. But just very, very impressive with what this vehicle is bringing for the hard-earned money. And we're going to bring you the LT trim as well once we get our hands on one, because that's what I like to do, is I like to bring as many trims as possible. But I hope that this has been a good overall review for you. We're going to get back to Dimmitt Chevrolet and wrap this one up, so I will see you in a nanosecond. Yeah, it's been another great day here at Dimmitt Chevrolet. Definitely got to thank Raheel and the rest of the crew getting us access to this 2023 Chevy Traverse, this being the LS trim. Let me know what you think. Are you as surprised as I am with what Chevrolet has done with the Traverse, especially at this entry-level trim? And are you thinking it's the better value over a Pilot, over a Toyota Highlander? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Of course, we need to give it up to Stephen Flood. Stephen Flood Photography. He brings value in everything that he does and the way that he lives his life, one day at a time. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.